Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kowalczyk's back with another business math video, and today we are in section 5-4. In chapter 5, we've been talking about banks and specifically savings accounts. Today what we're going to look at is something known as simple interest. You see, whenever you have a bank account, specifically a savings account, you can sometimes earn money. That's right. If you put money into a banking account, and you leave it in there for some time, what will happen is it will earn something known as simple interest. And what we're going to look at today are two steps to help us calculate simple interest. And I have two different problems to help us demonstrate this. Let's first focus on this first problem with Stephen Knobs. He deposited $1,000 into his savings account. No other deposits or withdrawals were made. And then he left it in there for 6 months. 6 months. And then the interest was computed at an annual interest rate of 4%. So the question asks, hey, how much simple interest did he earn? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to use these steps right here in this box. And let's get started. Let's go with step 1. Step 1. Now let me make it a little bit smaller, and there we go. All right, step 1. What was the number of months or days the money sat in the bank? Well, for this example, the money sat in the bank 6 months. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide it. I don't need the word months in there. You get the idea. And so we're going to divide it by the number of months that are in a year. So, how many months are in a year? Well, that's 12. And what you get is 0.5. Now, that's not our answer. That just gives us the time element that we need to do step 2. So, now that we've got 0.5, let's go on and do step 2. Step 2 asks, hey, what's the principal? The principal is a fancy word. It's a fancy word for the amount of money that's in the bank, or the amount of money that's being deposited. We're not talking about our principal here at school. We're talking about the amount of money that we're focusing on and dealing with to begin with. And that's $1,000. Now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that. We're going to multiply that times the annual interest rate. Now, it's been a while, but when we do 4%, we're going to have to change that into a decimal. We're going to have to change this into a decimal. All right? I don't know if you remember that, and I'll kind of remind you of that in a moment. And we're going to multiply this also times that time element that we got from above. Now, if we multiply this all out, we're going to get our answer. But as I was hinting at a few moments ago, what we have to do is we have to get rid of that percent sign. Imagine that there's a decimal right there, and move that decimal over. 1, 2. Okay? Let's make it a little bit thinner. 1, 2. You move it over. Why? Because now it's going to become 0.04. 0.04. So if you take 0.5 times 0.04 times 1,000, your answer is going to be $20. That's right. If you properly handle this formula, your answer is going to be $20. Well, just really to be sure that we've got this, let's do number 2. Number 2 is a little bit different, and I'll show you what I mean. You see, in number 2, we're depositing $2,000 for Stu Lott into his savings account. No other deposits or withdrawals were made. He didn't leave his money in there for months. He left it in there for days, 35 days to be exact. And the annual interest rate was 2.5%. And so we want to know, how much was the simple interest that he earned? Well, we've got a couple of steps to do once again. We got step 1. All right, we've got to do step 1. How many months or days did it sit in the bank? Well, this time it's 35 because it sat in there. 35 days. And we're going to divide it by the number of days in a year. And according to the formula, it tells us to do that. So hopefully you know that 365 days are in a year. And if we divide this out, we're going to get a long stinking number. We don't need that whole thing. Let's just round it. Let's just round it down to 4 decimal spots. That's right, 4 decimal spots. Okay? And now we can do step 2. Step 2, we take our principal. Once again, it's that dollar amount that we're looking at in this problem of $2,000. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, so let's just bring that up just to be safe. $2,000, and what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that times the annual percentage rate. Now it's 2.5. It's 2.5%. But if you move the decimal over and get rid of the percent sign, it becomes 0.025. So 2,000 times 0.025 times this number that we got just right up above, 0.0959. All right, that is looking good. And now we can multiply it out. And what we get is 4.795. Well, we've got to round it to make it look like money, so it becomes $4.80. And that is our answer for simple interest. So to kind of summarize exactly what we found here, we know that Stu put $2,000 in his bank, and he left it in there for 35 days. Well, at the end of the 35 days, how much money did he earn? How much money did he earn? Well, he earned $4.80. That's right. If you leave your money in your savings account, it's going to grow. And growing money is a lot better than just having it sit in your piggy bank at home where it's just going to stay the same. Savings accounts are wonderful that way. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to kind of go back through this video. We did not spend a lot of time on this section. Or if you'd like, you can also ask Mr. K if you have any questions. Thanks so much, and until next time, have a good day.